Hi, it's Uncle Gogo again from the Gogo Bunker. I tried to make a video of the passing of the Mormon prophet Gordon B Hinckley. Oh yeah, Thomas S Monson. My when I was a member, it was Gordon B Hinckley, and I guess I guess that whole generals in heaven story goes that when when you're up there wandering the golden streets of the Mormon of the Mormon celestial kingdom, which is the highest tier of heaven, people ask you, when did you live? And you say I lived during the Gordon B Hinckley, Gordon Thomas S Monson, and Spencer Ezra or Kimball. Spencer Kimball era, and all the spirits will be like, oh my God, you lived through all that craziness. How you are one of the more talented angels in heaven. What can I say about my time as the Mormon Church? I mean, during the Mormon Church, my zeitgeist was the middle, I guess the maturing age of the Hinckley era, from 1999 up to 2004. I've intellectually checked out of the church in 2002, and 2002, or roughly around the time of the Mormon Olympics, the morgue. Maybe I should have volunteered down there, and then I volunteered in the Vancouver games. Well, it was the Whistler / Vancouver / Whistler games, and I did the Whistler Paralympics with Sumi. I can show you a Sumi blanket I got here. I got my little baby sister. This is actually a real one. I got my baby sister the cheap ass copy one, because the green is a bit darker and it's much smaller. But this is Sumi. He's some kind of a weird tree spirit. I think Sumi here. He has a whale fin hat. And he's green because he represents the rainforest. He's a thunderbird because he's a hybrid bird creature. And I forgot what the brown creature is. I think it's some kind of a badger, I think, maybe. But Sumi here, she represents the Whistler games, the Whistler Chickamus Valley. That's where the Olympic village was. It's now a housing development. So again, the Salt Lake City game, Salt Lake City's. I think that would be the highlight of Mormonism, like during the Hinckley era. Hinckley took a lot of the old, the old 50s through 80s Salt Lake City constructions and totally renovated the city. Built a new conference center, for example. The conference center was the original one too. Really renovated Temple Square, the main square of Salt Lake City, with the headquarters of Mormonism. Built a mega mall. Built a bunch of luxury apartments and all this other cool fun shit there. You can actually, if you play the video game Last of Us, yeah. The final level is Salt Lake City, and you can see some of the buildings in the background during the scene where Ellie pets the giraffe who wandered from the zoo. But what can I say about Mormonism? I mean, Mormons are good people. Individuals here, especially here in Calgary, they're honest workers. They're good people. They honestly care. They're charitable. But there's a like any other human ideology or spiritual ideology that humans tend to corrupt over the eons with common human mistakes. I guess that's why we need Jesus. Eventually, Jesus or the Mahdi if you're a Muslim, or the Muad'Dib if you're a Dune fan. Eventually, what happens is this or if you're if you believe in Judaism, then the Messiah, or the Maitreya if you believe in a Pure Land Western Buddhism. Basically, some form of leadership comes and reestablishes the Federation from Star Trek. Basically, a pan-galactic civil rights loving paradise government, or Rallians a paradism. Like basically anything other than here. Terranok, if you will, the ancient Irish space age kingdom, or but until then, we must, until then, we are stuck with these human ideologies, or spiritual ideologies that humans totally fucked up, even Catholicism, which I am becoming a Catholic. Because humans tend to goof up. I myself am a socialist, and, communism, that worked out, right? What's the communism? Well, let's see. You got the Road of Bones for Stalin. You've got gulags. You've got all that Gong Show you call China. I lived there, so I can actually say that. A Gong Show China. So Mormonism, the paradise that the Mormons try to create, is Zion, especially the 4 states: Zion, Nevada, New Mexico, or Montana, or the Mormon corridor. Anything east of the east of the Rocky Mountains, i.e., southern Calgary, southern Alberta, is pretty much Mormon territory. And well, let's just put it this way: you have they say that the rivers that flow through Utah State, the actual core of Mormonism, are so concentrated with antidepressants, because when you take the medicine is metabolized through your liver. Metabolites, the vices in your liver break up the molecules into lesser dangerous molecules, and you shit out or piss out. You urinate and you excrete. That's what it says in our textbook. You excrete and sweat to excrete these chemicals from your body. As, for example, you drink too much, or you eat too much, or you sugar too much, and your sugar tastes too sweet, right? And your sweat tastes sweet. So what happens is everybody takes these medications, these powerful antidepressants, and there's nothing wrong with taking medication. I take some myself. I take Seroquel and Taprazole. But the thing is, part of it becomes metabolized. Part of it becomes metabolized and used by the brain in lieu of the deficient brain, in lieu of the deficient neurochemicals, neuromolecules, hormones in your brain. For example, if you're depressed, then you take these. The textbook says serotonin-based meds, and then when you're too hyperactive, then perhaps you don't have enough GABA, and then the chill pills you take increase your GABA intake and whatnot. So some of it's transferred back to your brain, or if you eat good food like proteins, like eat meat or something, or eat a pizza or pizza pop something, and all that sugary goodness goes to your brain, and it goes to your everywhere in the body, especially the fat. What happens is the leftovers get excreted out, pooped and peed out, and sweated out, and the pee especially, is very, very concentrated still with these chemicals, and what happens is so many people in Utah are taking these medications that there's a lot of there's a strong trace of antidepressants, most concentrated in the Utah rivers. So you wonder yourself, you have to ask yourself, is life very happy in Utah? The people are taking this medication. And they can just actually stare in they can actually there's a natural way of making yourself happy. There's staring at a light bulb. See, what happens is when you're depressed during Christmas time, you look into a fire, a candle, or a light bulb, and then you have this is called SAD. In Canada, we have this device called a SAD light bulb thing that they give to students in college. So during the initial phases of autumn and Christmas or winter, and you can take a nice warm shower, like really, spend $200 getting the Lumix guy to come and bang about the furnace, cleaning out all the gunk, all the crap, and all the dust, and perhaps even replacing it. We got ours replaced, so I could just actually turn on the shower very hot, and it feels so good. Maybe you have a glass of wine, while you're showering, or maybe have sex with your spouse in a legal way, or play some video games, or watch some Adam Sandler movies, or watch some comedy, something nice that you could forget that there's a lot of politicians out there that are trying to fuck us all over with nuclear bombs. So what happens is you have to wonder if life is such a paradise in Mormonism, then why are people taking so much medication down there? Why are they so unhappy? I'm not knocking people who are depressed, who are depressed, because I am schizophrenic, but you have to wonder why there's such a huge concentration. So even Mormonism, Mormonism, what Mormonism does is try to bill itself, try to promote itself, sell itself as the one true church of God, of Christ. That Catholicism or Protestantism, the different sects within those religions, will be Calvinism or Huguenotism, or perhaps Copic Christianity. Even in the Catholic Church, there's like many divisions. For example, there's the Orthodox Catholic Church, which is mostly adhered to by Eastern Europeans, and then there's the Western Catholic Church, which is the ones that we might know now, especially in France and Germany. You have many different sects of Islam. You have many different sects of Buddhism. You got the Pure Land, Western Pure Land. You got the Pali Canon. You got the original. You got Zen Buddhism of Taoist Buddhism in China and Japan and whatnot. I'm guessing. So there's many different beliefs. There's many different sects of Christianity and any other religion. So Mormonism says that a young man who lived in New York, a young teenager who lived in New York, asked God about this, because there was just so many revivals of churches down there in the States in the late 1900s. The so-called big tent churches, or those traveling churches down there. You got some guy with a funny-looking beard screaming, "Tarnation! Burn nation! Damnation! You gotta believe in Jesus!" That kind of thing. And he was wondering, what church should I believe in? It's a very legitimate question. I have to admit that Justice Smith was an honest seeker of the Lord, and what happened was Jesus. The story is that Jesus came down, or no, Moroni came down, and told Justice Smith not to believe in any religion, to find the original golden plates buried in Palmyra, New York. Back then, in the ancient times, it was called Hill Cumorah, which was never called that in reality, but that's what the Mormons say. And then there was this vault, a cement vault, where these golden bricks, these golden tablets were buried, that told an ancient, wonderful story, which became the Book of Mormon. And basically what the story said was that during one of the initial invasions of Babylon, a family of Jews escaped Babylon and escaped to North America. However, intellectual man, I should really stop shaving too cleanly. Those with new blades. Ooh, I cut myself pretty bad and gave myself a razor rash. But what happened was that this family formed the Native Americans as for being a Jewish family. But the problem is with being that with that account is there's this Mongolian Siberian genes that Mongolian Siberian genes that seem to have propagated the South American, North American Aboriginals through the Siberian Alaskan land crossing, the Bering Strait, which is now, which back then was perhaps a huge ice sheet, maybe. And in northern Alberta, if you go north of Edmonton, which is just north of here, Calgary, there's a huge ethnic nation called the Dene people, which eventually settled all over North America. Some in Arizona. The Mohave called the Navajo people, actually, and. Yeah, I mean, there's no Semitic blood whatsoever. In fact, there's ancient Chinese legends. I'm Chinese myself. There's ancient Chinese legends that state that ancient Chinese mariners crossed the Pacific Ocean, settled in California, settled here. If you go look at the old $20 bill, I'm not sure, but let me see here. The old paper $20 bill. Oh, it has to be the paper one. This is the Vimy Ridge paper one, but the old paper $20 bill, had a depiction of a sculpture that you can find at the Vancouver airport, where it shows these natives, Haida Gwaii natives with the hats. I'm assuming that's the Haida Gwaii natives, West Coast natives actually, with the straw hat, very reminiscent of people who, very reminiscent of the straw hats that they wear in Asia, especially if you watch the show Princess Mononoke. Before the young man goes on his adventure, the Ainu village, you have women wearing hats like that. The Koreans wear sort of similar hats as well to that, or the Chinese or the Vietnamese, the straw hats and. Lots of Asians wear hats like that, actually, and in the sculpture, there's these native mythological creatures, and they seem to be sailing, so maybe they're sailing to North America. But anyway, Semitic bloodlines are not among the Aboriginal people. So there's that story. There's that thing. That's an intellectual reason why I quit the church. I quit the church because I saw that the church was wasting a lot of the money on Proposition 8. Proposition 8's was a interference by a violation of the church and state barrier. Where the church decided to participate in the political agenda, and for that matter, I remember when I was a Mormon, the government was doing a VLT, a plebiscite, on whether or not Albertans should continue to use the VLT, video lottery terminals. Sorry about that. The video lottery terminals, and what happened was I voted. The church wanted me to vote as a member against these. I opposed them because it can lead to gambling addictions. But I kept them. I support them because this is Canada. You're an adult. An addicted adult maybe, but still you're an adult. This is a democratic country, and I don't want I don't want my choice of so-called free will that these Mormons keep on spouting to be violated by moralistic moralistic um, moralistic what's the word I'm looking for? You know, imposed moralistic impositions by the church by church members who think that they're morally superior or whatever, spiritually superior. So I voted no. I voted although I'm in the addictions field, you have all the right to drink. You have all the right to get to buy alcohol. You don't have the right to drive and drive though, but you have all the right to buy, drink alcohol, and not fight and not beat up your. That's where you cross the line. That's actually assault and intoxication and assault, or intoxication and assault. And what happened was that the bishop didn't like my choice when I brought this up to him. He didn't like the fact that I can actually think for myself. Because I'm an outside member. I had a lot of ability. Still had a lot of ability to think for myself, and he didn't like that. He didn't like the fact that I was a socialist. Although Jesus was a socialist. Jesus was a socialist. So I clashed a lot with the Bishop Leary, I believe his name was, and I didn't get along very well. So I pretty much left the church in heart. Anyways, I still had to be a member because in the early 2000, I guess, I was undertaking a award. I don't want you people to blank me out or to report me or anything, which led to the medal. And because I know that I'm going to be pissing off a lot of ex-Mormon or Mormon members here. Celebrating the death of Thomas S Monson. Like I said, my zeitgeist when I was in the church was 1999 to 2004, when Monson was alive, was a powerful member, was Hinckley's counselor, so he was one of the last ones. Gordon, Richard Packer, Gordon Hinckley, a bunch of other weirdos that died recently in the Mormon Church, and they were the ones who actually benefited from as being the hierarchy. They were able to use my tithe money, my McDonald's tithe money, which I didn't have much of, which I needed to divert to paying off credit card bills or student loans, and paying off my rent here, rent there, to my mom. I didn't have much money to tithe anyways, so that I needed. I was a young man. Young man needs. So I didn't want. I was very upset that my tithe money was being used for these, not saving the planet things, not using the Mormon Church to turn it into a paradise, to help the planet evolve into something heavenly, i.e. the Federation from Star Trek. And yeah, I was very upset. I was also upset that with the fact that because I was I was a new Asian guy, a new member. They seemed to be very excited and interested about me for the first few weeks, first few months. The flavor of the week, I guess, rice flavor of the week. And what happened was, they realized, they kept on asking me, where was I from? Thinking that I'm some kind of exotic Chinese. Maybe I'm Filipino Chinese, or maybe I'm from China, and I'm choosing their religion over my religion, or something jingoistic like that. Some jingoistic reason saying, oh, he's Chinese. Oh my God, or he's Chinese, so therefore our religion is right, or some nonsensical shit like that, bullshit like that. They find out that I'm from the. They find out that I'm from actually from the good old rice paddy that is Edmonton, and good old rice fields of Calgary. I keep on telling them I'm from Calgary. I keep on telling them I'm from Winnipeg, from Edmonton. My dad moved us around. But mostly it's Edmonton. Mostly I lived within the Edmonton Calgary corridor, and they figured out that I wasn't Charlie Chan from Hong Kong. So they pretty much just left me alone. They pretty much just left me because I was just as white as they were, I guess. Maybe I don't know. I'm just still a bit bitter of maybe I'm just a bit bitter of why I was mistreated in the church. I clashed a lot with the bishop on many political, socioeconomic reasons. I'm a socialist, for example, and he's an oil monger. I drove a rattle tin can sounding car. The Beverly Hillbillies with their Model T Ford probably drove something better than I did. I drove one of those old blue K cars that kept on making this rattling sound, and everyone else, all the rich kids, they're all driving their Mercedes and stuff, or their grandpa's Mercedes or whatever. And, if I went to a Catholic church or went to a real church, or maybe an Alliance church, maybe I would fit in. But this is very elitist. Like, the Mormons are very elitist. They think that they're, like I said, they got this mentality, this mythos that they are the one true church of God. All the other churches were all like splinters of the original Church of Christ that he came up with. And the Joseph Smith was the heroic one who found the truth and restored everything. Yeah, but the thing is, we got different within the Mormon religion. You've got different little splinter groups. If the LDS, the Latter-day Saints, being the one from Utah, is based in Salt Lake City, is the head church. But you have these different competing sects of the church. So let me just get this straight. The one true church has different little versions of the church now. Which is the right one? What do we need now? Another Joseph Smith, Joseph Smith's great grandson to go look for more magical plates, right? Anyways, my theological questions, I had many. So maybe as I'm going through the RICA in the next few days, on the 10th, maybe, because I haven't thought about spiritualism in a while. Just thought that there's something out there. I was very agnostic, that there's something's out there, but I don't know, and I'm not ready to find out yet. So, thank you to my wife Val, who I'm pronouncing her name incorrectly because she told me in an email, "I love you, honey." That she enrolled me into a RCA program over at the Catholic Church over there in St. Albert the Great Parish, and hopefully I'll be able to be triggered some more, so I can make more videos about Mormonism, my thoughts on Mormonism, and because right now I'm in rambling mode, because I'm still taking in this wonderful news that Gordon B. Hinckley's henchman, Thomas S. Monson, is dead. I don't know who will be able to rule the church next. They're going through, I guess they're going through their version of conclave, or they're figuring out which pope has been elected and whatnot. Or Mope. The funny joke is the Mormon prophet, the president, which was Thomas S. Monson, is called the Mormon Pope, or Mope. Like, I'm Mope. I'm sad and moping. Sad and mope. So, like I said, Thomas S. Monson. What kind of how do I compare? I did. No. I've left the church a long time ago before Thomas S. Monson died, or Gordon B. Hinckley died. He died maybe several years later since I left the church, and then Thomas S. Monson ruled for a short period because they're both all aged. And this is like this is like the USSR's leaders that are all aged one after the other, and you know, like as soon as the paint dries on the door, it's like "Gah, I'm dead," and then we have to elect the new leader of the Soviet Union, and then you have Gorbachev, who's like 40, like, and rules for like maybe 20 years or so. But all I can say is, had I been a member of the church in an alternate reality, in an alternate Mandela effect reality where I am, perhaps there's a sad version of me with tears and stuff and going, "Oh my God, Gordon, oh, Thomas S. Monson's dead." Or as my wife would say, "Hoo hoo 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 H-U-H-U-H-U," which means boo hoo, basically. It's like that. It's like the scene from the Nicolas Cage's crying scene where he's like, "Boo, boo, boo, boo," something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it would be like really celebrating and happy because a lot of things Thomas S. Monson said was very homophobic, and unfortunately, many teenagers. One thing that really got me out of the Mormon Church was this was like early 2000s, before America legalized gay marriages, and Canada legalized gay marriages in 2005, I believe, right? Let me double check. Canada. Yeah, 2005. So Canada legalized gay marriages in 2005. America would do that later in 2012, I believe, under Obama or something. Under Obama, I think it was 2000 and yeah, one of Obama's last things he did, which is good. But when I left the church, it was in like they just came out with the movie Brokeback Mountain around that time. Brokeback Mountain. Matthew Shepard, was very fresh in people's minds. The Harvey Milk biopic was out as well, and a lot of. I think it was just around the time of Proposition 8, Proposition Hate as it was called, and Proposition Hate was in Utah, and Proposition 19, I believe, was in California. Again, was to illegalize gay marriages in the states. The church spent a lot of money, a lot of tax money, a lot of tax-free donation money to. Is this thing still on? Yeah, still on. A lot of tax-free donation money to protest gay marriages in favor of the nuclear family. And I myself am not gay, but I have marched twice in the LGBTQ Pride Parade in Calgary, because when I left for China, I moved back to Canada. The China experience was okay. I was pretty much recovering from Mormonism. I was pretty much, when I was young, like this was like 5 years ago. I think really Mormonism was still fresh in my mind. It was dying out actually, and a lot of countries were protesting gay marriages also. So I promised myself that I would really get involved in politics, get involved in get really nosy and get very interventionist, nosy into politics and stuff, and start protesting what I see as wrong, and the Mormon Church, many Mormons, male Mormons, many male Mormons, they had from what I read on the internet, from what I read on ex-Mormon sites, were subjected to aversion therapy where they throw up, where they give you some medication to help induce vomiting when you're viewing gay porn or something, or gay erotica. Or, there were lots of brat camps. I think the brat camps have been closed down because too many kids were dying over the years. So at the time, there were brat camps where, you can send your kids to be ungay. Or it was perfectly legal to send your kids to a mental institution, or send, send family members to mental institutions. And recently in China, in 1997, the government just removed gay or homosexual or LGBTQ tendencies, natural tendencies, orientation, as being a mental illness. I had this argument with my Bishop Leary that, Bishop Leary, just think of him as just an average WASP man, the man. I asked him, we got into an argument, and I told him, no, I prefer democracy. I prefer. I wanted to leave the church. What it was I didn't leave the. I didn't. What was it? Oh, it's been a long time because this. I think with Thomas S Monson, with Bishop Leary, I think it's because I haven't gone to church in a while, and I was doing the award, getting the medal, and what happened was, he was upset that I wasn't showing up. I was going inactive, and he made an ultimatum saying, "Come to church, or I'm going to stop endorsing you for this award." Fuck that. I asked the award office if I can switch religions. He said, "Oh, it's perfectly fine," and I switched to Catholicism. And that was about the time I went to World Youth Day. But back to Bishop Larry and stuff. He brought me into the church asking me, why am I not coming to church? He wanted to, why am I not coming to church? I should come to church more often, or I was slacking off or something. Just basically threatened me. So that's a turn off. That was a major turn off right there. If people don't start showing up to church, the last thing that's gonna make them want to join, keep on coming to church is with threats, man. Threats. But I'll just push them away. Which pushed me away. And so we argued. We argued about homosexuality, how I didn't like how the church was wasting my tithe money on these Proposition 8s and Proposition 19s and whatnot, and Gordon or Matthew Shepard, and therefore, like I said, I'm not gay, but I do have gay friends, and I'm very, very sympathetic with the gay orientation. You need to be yourself. Be who you. You need to have the freedom to enjoy your own life within your own body. Love your skin, basically. Love the skin you're in. That's what the commercial says. And so we argued, and that was a big turn off. And what else do I find faults of the church at the moment? That's pretty much a grievance that helped me quit. I sound boring right now. It's because I'm less passionate. Just a few days ago, I just gave a total F you Mormons, F you totally unchristian, F you Mormons, or F you Gordon B Hinckley, or F you Thomas S Monson kind of. And I was wearing my medals, I was wearing my pins and whatnot from the Olympics and stuff. And I know that you ex-Mormons you Mormons are going to report me to the government or whatnot, and try to protest the government. I'm making this kind of video while wearing such a thing, because I'm saying, he's denying our right to have a religion. Well, I hate to surprise you, but you're not going to get any information out of me that way about what I did in my life. But I did a lot of cool shit in my life after Mormonism, and I could say is to anyone who's quitting, who wants to quit being a Mormon. I could say to you guys, you should honestly think about quitting the Mormon religion if you're on the fence about quitting. But do it for I did for emotional reasons. So you Mormons got the point right there, going, "Yay, he's a Mormon hater," but do note that I did read up on it. I did visit for many years ex-Mormon sites. You Mormons gonna say, "Oh, you're reading, you're anti-Mormon literature," or "The adversary puts a spirit of contrition in you." Yeah. So yeah, go ahead, whatever. I don't care anymore because I have left the church. I'm very happy. And if you want to quit the Mormon Church, you're gonna be happy too. You might be happy too. If you want to rejoin again, go right ahead. It's a free country. But I did find problems with the level of control the Mormons had. When I was a Mormon, they were 3 hours long, and the first hour is a regular church sermon, the whole communion cracker wafer service, except there was no wine. It was just Wonder Bread and water. Or if it was Fast Sunday, it was nothing. It was just it was communion. It was communion bread and water. It was communion bread and water. But you also got the chance to go up to the podium and explain your propaganda, your own personal propaganda of why you're a member of the church. Lots of crying, sniffing, and bubbling noises. Like this is how I'm doing right now, except I have a handkerchief. And you got a lot of... Pretty much the microphone sounded like pretty much... You know how you're watching pornography and you hear those biological bio sounds of bio slime? That's what these Mormons sounded like. They sounded very, or that sound or sound, but it's just all this blubbering sound. It came out as unintelligible gibberish. Here, let me try to recreate the sound. I believe that Joseph Smith is true, and I'm so happy. I'm just so happy. The gospel has been restored. That's what it sounded like because all the cheer they I don't know if the cheers were genuine or they're Kim Jong-un. They're basically Kim Jong-un. Please don't shoot me. I'm crying my eyeballs out. Kind of like tears, but they had maybe they did have tears. I'm not sure. Perhaps it's genuine. I'm assuming it's genuine because they're brain dead. But I think that that's all I could hear from the microphones. It was 45 minutes of that. I mean, and then I'm trying to hold my stomach in. I'm sure you guys are trying to hold that stomach in when I did that little goo sounds, and I can see myself foaming out of my own mouth. I'm trying to emulate the sounds, and basically the idea is to try to convince other Mormons that this is a genuine church based on feelings only. But with Catholicism and Judaism, maybe it's true. I haven't gone to that level yet. I'm in the exploration phase, but they seem to be more archaeological records that seem to state that there was a Jesus. At least maybe he was just a hippie preacher. Who knows? Maybe he's an alien. Maybe aliens guys. George Ticolis, I'm pronouncing this correctly, but George Ticolis' aliens guy is right, and maybe Jesus is from planet Caprica, and who knows? I mean, all I care about right now is just feeding my kids, putting my kids through school. I will perhaps study some more and open my heart more. But who knows? I mean, Dan Brown, he's a scientist and he seems to be very pro-Christian, but he seems to also, state that the Catholic Church and the Protestant churches did have a bunch of illusions to propagate the mythos of Christianity, but Dan Brown is a Catholic. I mean, Dan Brown's character is Dan Brown's a Catholic, a Christian, is from his writings. And there's Freemasons. They're smart people, and they have to believe in something. You have to believe in a creator there. Maybe God and Jesus are a big giant computer program. I don't know. When I'm dead, I'll know. My grandparents know. I have a friend who committed suicide a few years ago. He knows. Maybe people and I who do ayahuasca, maybe they know. And something that I don't. All I know is it's not at the Mormon Church. The Mormon Church is false. The Mormon Church is based on emotions, where affirmation emotions, based on you wanted to believe, you want it to be real so much that you actually feel the burning in the bosom, as the Mormons will say. Basically, these are basic affirmations. We all know that Kim Jong-un is a mutant. Kim Jong-un's a mutant, or his son. We know that Kim Jong-il was born in a revolutionary Soviet camp on the other side of the North Korea, out of occupied Korea, Japanese occupied Korea. Not born on a mountain underneath a red magical star, basically magical mythical mountain underneath a star, North Star, and delivered by a magical unicorn. That's what the mythologically says. That Kim Jong-un is not a pharaoh like God, but a retarded man boy who's fatter than I am. Yet North Koreans, they're able to believe that Kim Jong-un is the savior or messiah or some kind of, based on North Korean propaganda. So, based on that, a lot of the citizens are, they affirm each other. And that's what Mormonism basically is. It's all these citizens affirming each other through these testimony meetings where they're all blubbering and crying. There's 3 hours of that. Sometimes, and then there's also gospel central classes, and there's also I'm using this finger, by the way, there's also using gospel central classes, and they're also using priesthood/sisterhood classes. So it's 3 hours of non-stop boring, non-stop zombie muttering, if you will. And over the past 5 years of me being a Mormon, it sucked the whole living life out of me. I have to go to work on Monday. I have to go work up until Friday or sometimes Saturday to earn money, because I was working at McDonald's at the time because I was a young man. And I didn't take up a trade. I could have gone to work a job in a factory, got up a trade, saved a whole bunch of money, gone back to school. I did it the old-fashioned way, the McDonald's way, which is dumb. Because I actually did do these factory jobs, and I could work at Versicle. I loved that job. $40 an hour. Just lift boxes of frozen meat onto a wooden pallet, and make sure it's the right order, and tell the bosses or tell the supervisor to send it away. Get the forklift guy to send it away. Simple. I could have done that, but I didn't. Stupid me. So I worked at McDonald's. I worked at all these shit jobs to pay off my student loans. Long story. Pay off all the student loans from a college experience that I failed, but I'm recovering from now, which is good. And I didn't have money to pay the church. I kept on trying to tell the church, I don't have any money to pay you tithingly. So Bishop Larry kept saying, you can't afford not to pay your tithes. You can't afford not to pay your tithes. Fuck you, Bishop Larry. Fuck you very much. And I left the church on that grounds as well. I left the church because I actually felt like I was so depressed in the church. I actually felt like I was suffering from a heart attack. I mean, if I'm suffering from an opiate overdose, I had to go take a power nap in my parking lot because I couldn't. I was so depressed. I was so heartbroken or so sad and just dead. Opposite of what I felt when I was going to that Catholic church all those years. I felt alive. I felt warm. I saw all the little children there with their parents, and they seemed to be pink. They seemed to be well fed, like alive. And I wanted a part of that. I wanted to. When we want to have kids of my own, who actually have a brain and I don't. Yeah, a brain that works. I'm not bitter about that at all, God. But and like I said, this is the candid version of me, the kinder, candid version of me. I had so many. I was bullied a lot in that church, in the Mormon church. I was excluded. It was as if it was junior high again. I know I was not included in any of their friendship circles because they knew each other very well. My wife Thao was experiencing this at work, and I have to advise her to stick at work for a little bit longer, just to slowly integrate. Maybe they, work on project teams, and that's how I. It's like going to a new class, and all the other students in junior high came back from different schools, and you're like this new student who came into town, and you have that mentality. But I didn't find that mentality when I was a Catholic. They have coffee rooms downstairs. You can't drink when you're Mormon. You can't drink coffee, which is stupid because my textbook says coffee is actually good for your liver, and good for your blood, and good for your brain, and flushes everything out. Like you said, the whole thing of when I mumbled about when I mumbled on about medication and stuff. How Utah's rivers are so full of toxic shit in the rivers. You have the liver. Coffee cleans that stuff right out, but not too much coffee, because that makes your bones weak and makes your heart weak and stuff. So just the right amount of coffee. The right amount of coffee, a huge venti. I'm not much of a coffee drinker myself. I'm more of a food intaker. And the Catholic Church, they feed you very well. You go to potlucks, and then you be with families. Like everyone in the village, in the neighborhood, comes together, and then that's what the friar, the father, the holy priest, the holy father in the church and in the congregation tries to do. And I didn't get that in the Mormon Church. I get this really. As soon as when the two missionaries visit you and teach you for maybe 20 or eight lessons, then they invite you to become a Mormon church, or Mormon. Then they invite you to become a baptized. They baptize you right away before you have second chances, second thoughts, and then they just leave you alone. They go to work on another, and they go work on another guy, and you're there by yourself. You're there by yourself at church, a new community, and it's very vampiric. I don't know. It seemed to be very vampiric in that church. It's got this bad vibe, this bad battery vibe of old batteries. And like I said, I couldn't drive home from work, or I couldn't drive home from. This is when I was like in the midst of just leaving the church, just totally effing out of there, and I felt very poisoned. I advised. This is like 3 years later when I was ready to leave the church. 4 years later when I was ready to leave the church, and I didn't have too much. When you look at any other ex-Mormons videos here, especially when it comes to thinking for yourself, I didn't get much argument there except from Leary. The German Bishop Adon was actually quite nice, and it probably felt horrible for me to just leave like that, but I had to do what I had to do because I was being poisoned. I was being compressed. It felt like I was a rape victim. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this, if this is a good analogy, but I felt very useless. It perhaps felt like I was being raped or something. A rape victim. I'm a male, so I don't know Well, that okay. I retract that statement. It's not good. What could it be? It felt like the depression you feel, the anhedonic. Anhedonia. That's what that's a textbook right there. The black one right there, called Uppers and Downers, All Arounders, describes this condition of being of when you're in recovery phase when you're in recovery detox phase as anhedonia. You don't feel anything because all your neural transmitters, all your brain hormones have been just exhausted, like poof away with the drug use, and peed out, but just poofed out. This is what how you feel after a really really good New Year Eve. You feel like garbage in the morning. Well, that and this your brain's dehydrated. You need water, but it's also because you burnt a lot of energy out, and you just feel blah. Perhaps you do a good workout, you just feel ooh blah, and then you go to have a good sleep. It's sort of like that, except it was a very negative blah for me. I felt very anhedonic. I couldn't feel anything. Like I said, I didn't even have the motivation. It wasn't that I was dying or having a heart attack actually in a car. I just felt like, I felt like, I don't know. I just felt like, blah. I don't want to drive home. I just want to lie down here in the parking lot of the Mormon church. Because it was anhedonia. That's the word. Okay, now I remember. I just didn't feel good. I feel sick. It feels like I was depressed, sick. It feels like your character, after it's been injected with knockout darts, the purple crazy knockout darts, like on the Batman or any other superhero or any other spy movie, the purple powder comes out, and then you get knocked out, and then the guard goes, "Oh, my head." It feels like that. So why the hell would I pay good money to something that makes me feel bad, right? To a church to arguing a Bishop Larry, or I mean, when I went to the Mormon church, the Mormon temple, I obeyed all the rules. I was clean. I didn't smoke, didn't drink, didn't do nothing. I was like very clean. You know, in the Mormon church, you can't look at porn, of course, like any other religion. You can't drink beer. You can't drink coffee. You don't smoke. Give 10% of whatever you own, and a whole bunch of other crazy rules. And you know, you become pure, and you go to the Mormon temple, which was at the time Cardston, in just outside of Lethbridge. Yeah, just outside of Lethbridge, through the just right next to the Ghana territory, the Blood tribe, the native nation, Ghana people. And what happened was, you know, you have a temple card, temple pass, you can go in, and you do baptisms for dead people. You get actually baptized, honey, thou hun. When you're a Mormon, you actually go to the temple. Boys do boy names, girls do girl names, females do female names, boys do men's names, and you do the baptisms 10 times for 10 people, and the priest there would or whoever's running the whoever has the official responsibility of reading the card, and would say the name, where they're born, when they died, which is probably 1800s or something. You know, and then you get baptized in their names. And during the wintertime, because it was really, really cold, and during the wintertime it was like a big stone building. It was like a temple, like a temple, like a big rectangle building. There's probably something on the internet about the interior of the Alberta temple. I don't care a damn about it anymore. It was really cold, but the water was warm, so it's okay. It wasn't that bad. But it actually kind of felt the cold stone actually felt nice on my feet actually. But yeah, you go to the temple, and they say that when you're in the temple, you get to feel spirits. Maybe not see them, but you can actually feel heavenly spirits of the people who are being the ghosts, if you will, of people who you're being baptized for. And when you're at a higher level of Mormonism, like say for example, you get married or you go on our mission, you get your endowments. Yeah, this is like this is like the privilege of going to the celestial kingdom. To go to the celestial kingdom, you have to be married in the Mormon temple. So that means I can't marry you, thou, honey, if I was a Mormon. You would have to be a Mormon with me in the temple for it to count. Otherwise, you don't go to Mormon heaven, which is a boring place to go. I like Catholic heaven. I want to go with you, honey, to Catholic heaven. And what happened is, basically, is you get your endowments, and then you get when you're in your own body, like alive, you get endowed for dead people who are dead, ghosts who are dead. Again, boys, girls, girls. And what happened is, you have to be at a higher level of Mormon to do that. And I've been there like for 5 years, and I was at the lower priesthood, so I could only do baptisms for the dead. But I never felt these spirits. It just felt like a regular building. When I go to a Catholic church, I can actually feel. Maybe I'm just feeling the body heat of everybody else who's there. Maybe I'm actually feeling the presence of Heavenly Father, angels, whatnot, real ones, anyways. Or maybe I'm just feeling the presence of God or Jesus. I don't know. Again, the whole point of being a Mormon or Catholic is as you go through the ICIA, when you graduate and go through and become baptized, you get to enter this phase of the mysteries of life called mystagogy. And that's just all the I don't knows, and you ponder these I don't knows, and you mature in the faith. The Mormons don't encourage that. The Mormons don't even encourage any kind of personal connection of God. Actually, from what I heard, it's just read their scriptures, say their mantras. I believe in Joseph Smith. I believe that Joseph Smith has restored the Church of God. The Book of Mormon is true, and the Church of Jesus has been restored. Over and over and over again. It's like, Whereas Catholicism is more of you slowly absorb the sea of the universe, the whole fisherman, Christ, the whole mystery of Christ. Or, if you're a Sufi, if you're a 12-er Imam, if you're Nenshi in Calgary, believing in the Aga Khan sect of Islam, it's all your mind to the universe, your mind, Or if you believe in Aboriginal beliefs, native beliefs, it's you and the Great Spirit. Basically, the Mormon religion is about passive participation. Go to the temple, say the prayers, do the tithes, whereas Catholicism, like perhaps any other religion, is that you slowly bring it into your heart. So that's my take on it, anyways. That's what I'm thinking of. That's the pre-notion I have before my pre-RCA notion. And like I said, when I went to the Mormon church, the Mormon temple, it didn't feel like anything. I remember talking on the internet. This is back when they had programs such as R or inter-chat relays and stuff. This is like basic chat, like the IRC chats. They still have IRC chats. I would chat the chat rooms. I always asked Mormons, what is in the temple? What's waiting for me? One Mormon said that he when he went on a missionary as a missionary, he went to the temple and he did the work for a woman, which is strange because he was a man, but I'm not sure how that happened. But that's what he said, and he said that he was visited by a ghost of that woman, just being very thankful, and I never experienced that. I mean, when I'm in the Catholic Church, because I was never a real member yet, at least I felt something, a little tingle or something. But this is more of a intellectual. How do I pronounce it? This is spiritual things. It's really hard to pronounce. Whereas the Mormon is just a feeling in the heart, but this is more. But this Catholic feeling is something more real, honey, more real, thou. Am I making any sense, thou? I'm not. Perhaps I'm not. But I guess my biggest fear of not joining the Catholic Church when I should have when I was younger and thinner, healthier and more handsome looking was that I was scared. I was scared I was going to get my heart broken again. But then you're different, thou. Hun, you're different because you actually cared about me. You actually didn't want me to go down to hell. You actually wanted me to enjoy what little time I have left on earth, to not waste it, to use it productively. You anticipate a productive life with me in the church, and we go back to see our family occasionally, more frequently, and do things there too. Maybe we fly a weekend there, fly a weekend back, and whatnot, and take some time off work and fly there, fly there and back. Who knows how that'll work out, but yeah, I mean, I'm getting late tonight. I mean, this whole rant about the Mormon Church. I mean, the whole Mormon Church. I didn't see nothing, didn't feel nothing. Basically, it was you get the feeling. You know how a salesman will sell you a bunch of stuff that you really don't need, like a used car salesman, or perhaps you go to the Calgary Stampede grounds and you go into the exhibition hall and you go to the selling, the conference market there where you have all these sailors and stuff, all these traveling salesmen trying to sell you their shit that you don't need, that you don't want, but you might end up buying anyways, because it's not just you're buying the product, you're buying the confidence. And the Mormons really played with my confidence. They made me feel good when I was a member, but as soon as I bought the product, as soon as I joined the church, I kept on hoping it was going to get better. I kept on being a clean Mormon. I kept on reading the scriptures, kept on pondering the Mormonisms and stuff, blocking out anti-Mormon ideals. I shouldn't have, because I would have left the church much more earlier. And I basically what happened was, I just couldn't justify me being in the church anymore. I had there was pretty much I was left alone in the church. No one paid attention to me. I was bullied a lot. Maybe I was different because I had socialist views here in Alberta. I actually wanted our church to start giving to the poor, giving time to the homeless and stuff. So I actually found more enjoyment in life not being a Mormon, volunteering for the Mormonism, but spending my time volunteering for the homeless shelters and stuff. I was doing an award, the award, getting the medal, and yeah, I left on a feeling, and I studied. I did rationalize my way out of the church by studying the material. The CES letters, this new CES letter is very good. It's very good material. If you're questioning the church, I highly read it. If you're questioning the church, I highly suggest looking up Mark Hoffman. Like, one thing about the Mormon Church is we're taught that the president of the church, the prophet, in this case Thomas S Monson, is connected with the Lord, because he's a prophet, the seer, the revelator. He's connected somehow intellectually with a mind link to the space god. Mormons believe that the god is a human living on a planet called Kolob. Planet Kolob, if you look at any Osman records, there's an Osman record called The Plan, and you flip it over or whatever, and there's a weird space-looking planet. That's Kolob. That's heaven. That's Mormon heaven. Hun. God is the universe. God is everything. God is air. God is everything. The whole mystery of it. And God is now a planet, a king of a planet, another superhuman. It's weird, right? So as I was saying, this prophet is supposed to have his mind connected light years, like space warp 10 light, Star Trek warp 10 light years away to Kolob planet. And then the thing is, Joseph Smith is supposed, or Thomas S Monson is supposed to know everything. Yet there's a con artist, a thief, honey. A con artist. When you come to Canada, a con artist would be called a thief. A person who tell lies, not exactly steals, but tell lies to trick you to give him money for a fake business or whatever. But Joseph Smith, the founder of the Mormon Church, is a con artist. And basically, what happens is this Miss Marky Hoffman promised to sell some old ancient papers, religious papers, to the church that approves some kind of church story. I believe it was the Book of Abraham. And how the story goes is that these are fake. These are fake papers. These are fake records and whatnot, artifacts. Yet, how come the president of the church at the time didn't know? He was supposed to know because his brain's connected to heaven. God is supposed to tell him the truth. Yet he doesn't know that he's being that this man was trying to sell him fake papers. So eventually, they blew each other up with a bomb. I don't know why, but I don't give a damn. But this happened in the 80s. Mark Hoffman, So maybe the Mormon Church prophet, maybe the president is not heavenly. Maybe he's not connected to God. Who knows? We know these Mormons are fake. So there's a whole bunch of other reasons why I left the church. The Mormon Church talks about the horses, steel, big giant battles in America between Jewish Indians or Jewish natives, which never happened. There was no records of these dead bodies. Like, I got my head chopped off with an axe. I'm like, and then my bones were like in the dirt with a sword in my hand, like holding a sword, holding a shield, going They don't have that. They don't have that. They don't have all these. Yet you look at ancient battlefields. In Israel, they have a lot of bodies. In Egypt, they have bodies. You look at ancient bodies. Hell, you could ancient World War II battlefields. You have dead Russians, dead Americans with the bodies that go holding a machine gun going or blown to bits by a bazooka grenade going and then they have they have Nazi helmets that are halfway in trees. Not the Nazi guns that are halfway in trees when the soldier went I'm being shot by machine guns. I'm American, and their bodies are going, and then and then the helmet flies off their head, and then they're like, because they got blown up, and then the helmet goes into a tree. They have that, but they don't have this. They don't have these bodies in America. You have a lot of Civil War bodies, but you don't have a lot of in the Civil War. Between North and South, you got lots of dead bodies everywhere still. Yeah, they don't have these skeletons. These ancient warrior skeletons. They have Roman warrior skeletons, found, but they don't have these ancient warrior skeleton bodies found. And supposedly these empires were huge. These Jewish empires in America were huge, according to the Book of Mormon. And not so much. And speaking of Book of Mormon and Nephites, and the Nephites are one race of natives that are Jewish, and then the Lamanites were another Jewish race that were white. The Nephites were black because they disobeyed the Lord, so God turned their skin black or dark, like natives are today, although they're having Asian dark skin. And according to the Book of Mormon, blacks, like people from Africa, are cursed with the curse of Cain, like the mark of Cain when Cain killed Abel back in the Genesis. Blacks are the descendants of Cain, and therefore the blacks could not go to Mormon heaven, could not become a priest, therefore go to Mormon heaven. Because you need to become a priest, a Melchizedek priest, have the paper like I told you about going to the temple, be married in the temple, have ordinances in the temple saying God loves you and accepts you in the kingdom, go become here's your new name, blah 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 blah. All these other kind of crazy googlies in the Mormon temple, which I never got to do because I didn't want to because I left the church and didn't want to get married as a Mormon. But yeah, blacks could not do that because blacks could not go through step one because they were not allowed to. So let me get this straight. If I'm a black man, I cannot become a Mormon. I cannot go to Mormon heaven, like the top level of Mormon heaven. The 3 levels of Mormon heaven are celestial kingdom, and even within that Mormon level of celestial kingdom, there's a top level too, and then the second level and the third level, and then you one elevator floor down to the celestial kingdom, and then one more down to the terrestrial kingdom, and then you're either that or you're on a glorified earth, as when earth is glorified or some shit like that. So honey, because when we die, and our kids take over our lives and take over our house and everything, and take all our money because we're who parents and we're dead. We die and we go to celestial kingdom, according to Mormons, but we know where we're gonna go. We're gonna go to St. Peter and say, "Hi, this is my wife. And you gotta say, "Hi, this is Casey. She's my husband, or he's my husband," and then we go to heaven. We go to the real heaven, anyways. And what happened? I keep on saying what happens. So blacks cannot go to heaven because they cannot become a priest to start this whole temple process. So instead, blacks become servants to white people who get to go to heaven. That sounds like fun, doesn't it? Jesus wants us to all go to Catholic heaven to be, forever with Jesus, because you and I, Thou, honey, work very hard to raise Catholic children, and we pay our taxes. We are honest people. We're honest mom and dad, and we love each other, and we build the church up by volunteering for it because that's what we want to do. That's what you said you want to do. That's what I said I want to do. And and then so black people, they can't go to heaven. They can only go there to heaven as a servant. So if I was a black man, what incentive do I have to fucking become a Mormon in the first place? If I'm going to be a servant on earth, money servant, because I earn money and I have to work to earn money to pay the church for it to grow and my family and whatnot, why the hell would I, as a free democratic American, if I was black, want to become a servant? That's like giving up my citizenship of a democratic free person to serve a white Mormon forever. There's nothing wrong with being white, but that kind of mentality these Mormons think. And not only that, but Mormons are also racist when they say, I have the old Book of Mormons before 2005, before Gordon B. Hinckley changed everything, before the internet taught everybody what it really said in the Book of Mormon. I used to read that the Nephites were the white and delightful, or people who are white and delightful, and people like me, colored man, I'm tan, that's a color, are not white and delightful, we're cursed. So another Mormon legend is that there was a war in heaven. There was a war in heaven, and a little seed got in my mouth. Peanut or something, not peanut. I think that was sunflowers or no pumpkin seed. And what happened was in the war in heaven, before this whole funny story started, and we got down on Earth, that Satan rebelled with 1/3 of his angels, and the Mormons who fought, the angels who fought back the most hardest became white people, Caucasian people, like blonde, white, and delightful, apparently, and us Asians, us Indians, us Aboriginals, Austro-Aboriginals and North American Aboriginals, or Turtle Island Aboriginals, South Americans, Incan Peruvians and Aztecs and whatnot, Mesoamerican and blacks, we get to become colored because we didn't fight so hard in heaven, that we were cowardly, or we didn't have we are neutral, that we were sitting on the fence, as they say. And I actually read this in the Book of Mormon. Or I read this as a teaching from one of the Mormon teachers. It's not canon teaching, but but he's a theologian, an official theologian of the Mormon Church. So he came up with this saying. It may not be actual church teaching, but it did come out of a Mormon theologian's mouth. So it's thought. I mean, the Mormon Church should have said, if the Mormon Church was serious, they should have said, banged it down, saying, no, we don't believe in this. The Mormon Church didn't make any stance whatsoever. So I'm going to assume the Mormons are really racist. And, let's say that because you didn't fight in heaven, and if you're a colored person, you deserve, you don't deserve the glory to be white and delightful. So that's one thing that, do I look like a blonde man? Blonde and blue eye. I mean, my sister-in-law, she's Caucasian. She's cool. She's a really awesome urban dance instructor. But do I look like a white man? Take a few seconds there, Mormons, and kind of take a good look at that, Mormons. What incentive do I have if I'm going to be a second-class citizen in your Mormon heaven, even if it's a lesser kingdom? What incentive do I have to join? If I could go to the Catholic Church and be a full citizen, a child under Christ. Me and my wife, my wife is Vietnamese, I'm Chinese. We're both going to be Canadians, What incentive do we have to become secondary citizens if we work so hard to serve a country and the democratic values of a country, Canada, as loyal citizens, tax-paying citizens, non-criminal citizens, good citizens? Why do we want to go one step lower? And if you Mormons can actually give a good answer to that, I'll join your Mormon church. It has to be a good answer that burns me in the bosom. And since you can't, fuck off, Mormons. And that's all I can say about why I left the Mormon church. It's more intellectual reasons. I could probably write tomes of it. But you can find this information all over the internet. You can also, ask a priest, your Mormon priest about this, or search from your own heart and your own mind. Do these discriminatory policies and ideals should any of these ideals of discrimination, racial discrimination, homophobia, like our Pope versus your Mope. Our Pope Francis is very, very adamant about reconciliation with natives. Reconciliation, he's saying, I'm sorry. And not only is he saying I'm sorry, but he's also trying to host all these talks about peace. He's condemning wars of aggression all over the world. The Pope is speaking of reconciliation with the youth that have been alienated by church teachings in the past, or is he saying he's being Christian. He's trying to be as peaceful as he possibly can. He's trying to teach. Be nice and accept gays as the LGBTQ community as being brothers and sisters, fellow humans. He's being a human being. What is your mope doing? Your mope is promoting hate. Packard is promoting hate. Monson is promoting hate. Pretty much your Mormon mope. He's just turtling himself. Mormonism is retracting all over the world. It's retracting in any other country. I mean, like all I can say is Mormonism during Gordo B Hinckley's era was probably Mormonism's golden age, modern age, the golden age of expansion. The Mormon Church was trying to buy its way into China, for example, with businesses, so that didn't work out too well. Mormons are still illegal to missionize in China. The Mormons who are Mormons who live in China, who are baptized outside of China, can serve and whatever and go through their temple rituals and whatever, but they can't proselytize, and that's good. Mormons may be in my wife's country, Vietnam, but they're stuck in Hanoi, and it's Hanoi. Lots of stuff are in Hanoi, but the government's slowly trying to bring these programs down south to Ho Chi Minh or Saigon, proper name Saigon. For example, the Duke of Edinburgh Award, the Vietnamese version of it, and the central party is trying to the central Vietnamese government is trying to integrate the rest of the country through the practices of Doi Moi and other cool shit. I hope the Vietnamese I wish the Vietnamese extremely well luck. Wish them good luck to make the mistakes China didn't, or make mistakes that don't make the mistakes that China did. Sorry, backwards. China made a lot of mistakes. Vietnamese should not make those mistakes too. So hopefully Vietnam does it right. Does it right. But the main purpose is that sure, Mormonism's now in Thailand and any other country during the Monson era, but it doesn't have the charisma of Gordo B Hinckley. It doesn't have the drive. And pretty much everyone's leaving Mormonism. People in Russia are leaving Mormonism. People in England are leaving Mormonism. It's pretty much dead in Canada. I mean, southern Alberta basically is the last Mormon bastion. This is connected to the Mormon. Like I said, it's connected to the Mormons' south or Eastern Rockies. What's it called? The Eastern Rockies Mormon corridor, the Zion Curtain, if you will. And Mormonism's dying out, thank God. But religion's dying out all over the world too. But there's always a chance for revival of Catholicism. There's always World Youth Day. There's always people joining Mormon Catholic Church who are hurting really bad in the world. And Mormonism does not address. I mean, this is my main problem with Mormonism. It doesn't address the sufferings of the world. Whereas Catholicism, other Protestant churches, especially Kama churches, they actually go out and help the homeless. You can feed all the homeless you want. You can hold all the food bank drives as you want for the Mormon Church, but you gotta feed the body and the spirit. You have to feed the spirit with the bread of Christ. And the Mormon Church does not have the bread of Christ, I'm afraid. It's a fraudulent church, as I explained 30 minutes ago. It's a fraudulent church. There are scientific reasons why the church is false. There are intellectual reasons why the church is false. Fake documents, all sorts of falsehoods, and But this is America, this is Canada, believe whatever the hell you want. I have the right to believe in Catholicism, you have the right to believe in Mormonism. Just don't come to my door and tell me I'm wrong, because I don't come to your door and tell you you're wrong. In fact, one of the things the Mormons did say is all the churches, including my Catholic Church, are all an abomination an abomination of the great whore of Babylon, as they say. And that's, yeah, why you gotta go there, Joseph Smith? Why you gotta go there and tell me that I'm a Catholic, I go to a Catholic church, me and my wife are whores. You call my wife a whore. I don't call your wives whores, Joseph Smith. See, that proves I'm a better person. Because I'm a better person because I believe in manners. Something you Mormons got to learn. Although I didn't experience the Molly Mormon, the viciousness of the Molly Mormon, but many women, especially many women who want to leave the church, or many women who actually think for themselves down in Utah or any other Mormon country, young girls, young women, young mothers, all meet the creature that is called a Molly Mormon, a very super uber Mormon wife or woman or teacher, who's really cat-like, who's really vicious, like a banshee vicious. And if you go on any other Mormon website, ex-Mormon website, and type in Molly Mormon or love bombing or some of the stupid things, irresponsibly stupid, irritating things that Mormons do when they're in jingoistic mode, it just spoils it just makes you want to leave the church even more. So I mean, I didn't experience that. Pretty much, I experienced anhedonia and apathy, and that's about it. And then I just left the church. Why should I pay 50 minutes if I'm not wanted there, right? Whereas the Catholic Church, I'm wanted there. I met two lovely ladies who did the intake for me, and they are very interested in my story. I felt warm around them, but genuinely warm, not burning in the bosom, fake warm. But this is actually, they actually cared about me. They actually cared about my wife. I mean, they're people too. Catholic churches, any other churches, Buddhists, whatever, Ryan, they all make mistakes. But at least the Catholic Church tries to correct its mistakes. Try to say, I am sorry. They try to build hospitals. There is no Mormon hospital. Maybe Utah State Hospital. That's the one that's run by the state, the state of Utah. And that's all I can say. I'm glad Gordon B Hinckley's dead. I'm glad Thomas S Monson is dead. And this is my statement. I mean, I'll probably give more statements when I can articulate them more in a intelligent way. But I have autism, and I talk like this basically. And I don't want to really regurgitate 4 years, many years. I left the church in 2004, so 14, 15 years worth of reasonings. You can just find my reasonings very similar to any other ex-Mormon's reasoning. There's a lot of more eloquent ex-Mormon sites out there, ex-Mormon postings, the videos out there. That guy called Noah, Caleb, the older bolder gentleman. He's still alive, and Saint Patrick or Saint David, I think he called himself. I don't know. He's on there. He's an ex-Mormon. He had it pretty rough. A lot of Mormons have been in there for 40 years. They've been giving 40 years worth of tithe money to a fraudulent church that they could have spent feeding their kids, feeding their grandkids, putting their kids through school, or paying for their retirement that they deserve after raising children to adulthood and raising a household. And when you say Mormons, ex-Mormons become drug addicts or whatever, or some crazy shit, or their lives turn to garbage. For the first few years, maybe, but they all work themselves out of it. They all try to battle the poor self-esteem that Mormons have levied against them for many years. That's the reason why they quit. And then and what they do is they decide to do productive things with their lives. I mean, a lot of Mormons I do on Facebook have wonderful lives. They're posting wonderful adventures, some of retirement adventures, some of them from lovely neighborhoods, from lovely places in the world where they retired, and going on wild adventures that I'm envious of. And here I am still stuck in school. So all I could say to the Mormons is, do what you gotta do. Just stop telling lies. The church is not real. You know it. You know it. I know it. The whole world knows it. The Lord knows it. The universe knows it. Aliens from the planet Aliens, George Dicolius' aliens, know it. And I'm glad Thomas S. Monson is dead, and apparently, because he's a charlatan, he's in Catholic hell right now. And that's all I'm going to say about this. You guys wanted to know what I sound like, what I look like, because you probably see me just posting my Fuller House videos and whatnot, and this is what I sound and look like. And I'm an ex-Mormon, and hashtag I'm an ex-Mormon. If you want to be Mormon, go right ahead, but just stop bothering us in the streets. Stop having your missionaries keep harassing us. We tell you guys no, we don't want it to join the Mormon church, and we mean no.